Okay, I just wanted to give a quick update on where I'm at with everything. So if we go to Quasar UI Auth and I open that up in code, let me just bring this over here, close everything out. And I'm going to jump into my directory for, here we go, in the test app, source, auth providers boot. So this is basically where you set up all of the auth providers. And what I wanted to show you is that we now have Supabase. So I could not believe how ridiculously easy this was. And this isn't a testament to me. This is a testament to Supabase, how they've made their API so just straightforward, like so ridiculously straightforward with like really simple words like sign in, log out, sign out, and they just do exactly what you would expect them to. And since it's so similar to Firebase, I was able to basically take all of the implementations with Firebase. I just basically copied that whole project and just did some tweaks to make it work with Supabase. So that's cool. We got Supabase authentication now. And you can see now I've got an app that has Firebase, Sanctum, and Supabase authentication. And then all I have to do is switch out the default one to Supabase. And we have an app that's working with Quasar authentication using Supabase. So let's go ahead and start this up. We'll cd into that test app there. And I'll run yarn dev. I can't wait until Quasar supports PNPM, which I'm hoping will happen. I've been using it in my other projects, and especially for using a mono repo and doing stuff like workspacing, it is so much nicer with PNPM than it is with Yarn. Having said that, I'm using Yarn 1, not Yarn 2. All right, so that's up and running. So now let's jump into there. And there we go. It looks the exact same of all of my others, which is kind of the point, because you know, the point is that you literally just swap it out and you've got authentication with a different library. So I'm currently logged in. Let's log out. And now if I try and go to the dashboard, you know, all that stuff I've been talking about in my other videos, it all just works. It does all the redirects for you as well, gives you a register page. And now we can come in here and say some other email at example.com, dummy password, register. And there we go. I'm now registered using Supabase. And let's just double check that. It's kind of becoming hard to test. And the reason it's becoming hard to test is because you can't tell whether or not it's actually working with Supabase or not. So I should probably add like Quasar Auth and then add the word Supabase or the default provider there. So there we go. Some other email at example.com. And it worked. We've got a whole sign-up process, which is going to be really, really easy to set up with Supabase. And the good news is I'm still kind of new to this, and I was able to get this done in about 2 to 3 hours using Supabase, which is really exciting because it means that when we start implementing other backends, since they're all following the same interface and it's all very similar code with just tweaks here and there, it should be pretty easy to just make this library massive and start offering authentication scaffolding with Quasar with just about any authentication library. And for the ones that don't exist, other people can then implement the contracts, and it's really not that hard to do. So let me just see if there's any questions. Oh, I'm not sure if this stream has even been working. Oh no, it looks like it has been. All right, sweet. But yeah, so that's all I wanted to show you. In fact, let's see if we can get that little thing done where it says Quasar Auth and then the name of what I'm currently using for authentication. We'll jump into main layout, and I think there was a way I could get the default provider. So let's import. What did I call it? It was coming from Vue. No, what is it? Something composables. Auth-composables. Can't even remember the name of my own library. Yep, there we go. And I believe it was like get default provider. There we go. So now we should be able to say const auth provider is equal to get default provider. And then let's just try using that variable up here. What's going on? From. So now I should be able to come up here, Quasar auth, and then I just put it in parentheses here. Let's see if that works. Quasar auth Supabase. Yeah, all right. Let's get rid of the auth word. Let's just say Quasar Supabase. Look nicer. Cool. And then I probably want to capitalize that as well. I don't even know how to do that in JavaScript. JavaScript, first letter, capital. It's probably like a really nice. Yeah, I always do stuff like this. Might seem a little bit lazy, but sometimes I just couldn't be bothered. And so we could do this auth provider upper first, something like that. Usually I've actually got something like low-es, so I'll just pull something out of that. Const that is equal to, and then let's just cut that, paste it in there, and then change it to that. There we go. Then we can use auth provider upper first. There we go. Quasar, Supabase, and now let's do this. Let's just try one of the others now. I can't try the Laravel Sanctum one right now because I haven't got my server up and running. But let's do a quick check to see if the others are working. So we got Supabase, we got Firebase. I believe everything's set up for that. And there we go. Now I'm authenticated using Firebase. I mean, this still blows my mind. Ah. There we go. That's now using Firebase behind the scenes. And you know what? Just to make this fuller, let's just do one for Sanctum as well. So if I cd into backends, I've got a backend section so I can easily test them. We get a Sanctum backend. Then I should be able to just say sail up -d. This is now like Laravel type stuff. So if you don't understand this, it's totally fine. And then what am I doing now? So we change this now to Sanctum. And I should now be authenticating using Sanctum. So let's create an account. And by the way, notice that I now get name here as well as a password and password confirmation. So what it does is it picks up that when you're using Laravel Sanctum, you're going to need this as an additional field. So I've created it so that the contracts can have default additional fields for register. So for example, if you're using a framework that always goes name email, like that's the default behavior for it, you can then do that, and then UI libraries, like in this case Quasar, will automatically scaffold out the form correctly for you. Now granted, of course you can then remove that name field there, but it just means that you can have sensible defaults, which is kind of nice. So now I can say Luke at something.com, dummy password. Oh, okay, so it looks like there's some problem with my server. Okay, now I really want to debug this. Oh, actually, yeah, this is a problem I was running into before. I seem to have to refresh it a second time. And oh, so maybe register isn't fetching the CSRF token. Which is why... Yeah, actually, let's check that. I mean, I'll fix this in my own time, but I just want to quickly check it now. Luke at blah.com. Whoops. Should be in there. We'll say here Luke blah. Yeah, so then it works a second time, but I just want to check. Was I actually fetching the cookie there? Yeah, okay, so it does seem to fetch the cookie first. Yeah, weird. Anyway, I can look into that and try and get it working. But I think it just seems to be a first time kind of thing. So if I log out, let's just clear everything. Clear site data. Might just be like the server doing something like setting up. I don't know. Let's go to the register page. Luke. And then we'll go another name. All right, let's try this. Yeah, no, okay, so there's something funky going on there. It's fetching the cookie, but for some reason it's not logging in. It's like has to do it a second time. I don't know, I've had this problem in the past, so we can get that sorted. But that's the cool thing about having something like this, where all of those problems can be sorted for you. And once they're sorted for you, you can then, just share it with everyone. They don't have to deal with them themselves. So there we go. Hope you all enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next stream.